And welcome to another edition of Inside the Program, brought to you by the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm your host, Justin Wells, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Eric Nalin. First off, please help us like this video and subscribe to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. We hit that 7,000 mark. Let's get to 8,000. We sure do appreciate all the help and support from the Inside Texas and Texas Stratosphere community. Hey, use a promo code IT1 and you'll get 2 months of InsideTexas.com for only $1. IT1 gets you 2 months. That'll get you through this monotonous May. That'll get you into official visit season in June, when recruiting really starts to take off. And so today is like any other Friday. We go inside the program. This is something we do weekly, and everyone wants to know about D-tackle. Dominic Williams picked Oklahoma last night. Eric and I can't say we're very surprised. We're going to talk about what's next for D-tackle. We're going to talk about the NIL kind of strategy, and then we're also going to talk about a corner that's visiting campus this weekend. Eric, let's start off at D-tackle. I keep saying demonic because of the way it was spelled, but yeah. Mr. Williams decided to make his home in Norman. Him and his family, his crew, kind of wrapped that thing up late last night. What's next for D-tackle? Because I know that's what fans want to know the most. What's next at that position for the Horns?
Well, I mean, they can keep evaluating what's in the portal. There's not a whole lot. I think Simeon Barrows, there's a decent – he's going to commit today somewhere. And Texas hasn't really made a pursuit there. There's another guy at Michigan State, Harmon, that maybe Texas is going to kick the tires on. I don't know. I'm checking on that. I checked on that last night. It was undetermined at that point. We'll see if that guy materializes. But, I don't think Texas is nearly as desperate as fans make it out to be. Right. They lost some really good players. They're not going to be as good next year as they were last year, no matter who they sign. But they have a lot of good bodies. I mean, they're going to have one of the best tandems in the SEC with Alfred Collins and Norton. I mean, that's going to be a good tandem. It's not going to be a great tandem like we just saw, but it's going to be good enough. It's not going to be an anchor on the team. Of course, the key that we've been talking about all offseason is matching the scheme to the skill sets of the players they do have. Texas can't afford it. Can't assume they're just going to go in and play bully ball like they did last year. They're going to have to create a lot more movement. But overall, Texas is not in the worst shape possible. Far from it. They're not as desperate as LSU or OU is, and that's why they didn't go crazy on it. They weren't going to break the market to get Dominic. They're stuck to their process and their approach, and they're going to be perfectly fine.
That's a great point, because and we're going to talk about that a little bit more with NIL strategy. But yeah, Texas, Sark is judicious when it comes to the portal. They're not just going to take anybody, and they're going to make sure it matches along the lines of everything that they've got. They want alignment. Yeah, I went Herman on that. They want alignment throughout that place, and sometimes guys aren't going to be fits at the end of the day. And you nailed it, man. They're going to have more depth. They're going to have some depth there. It's just not Sweat, Murphy, Coburn, Ojimo type depth.
Yeah, I don't know if Dominic was a bad fit necessarily. Obviously, people in this camp were running everybody ragged. I mean, no matter who we talked to that covered different schools, they were like, "Oh my God, everybody's struggling with this guy." I don't know that Dominic was a bad fit necessarily, but they were not going to break the bank for him. And I think Dominic's preference, if all things were equal, were OU over the other schools. And Texas had a number. They weren't going to go over it, and I appreciate it. That's a responsible way. That's an enduring way. You can build a durable program without breaking the bank. They're not going to rob Peter to pay Paul. And now they've got they got cash in the bank to address portal. They're going to have to address portal again in December. We know that they're going to lose too much after the season. So I like the way they went about it. It's kind of like, you've got a trade you like to make in the NFL, but the price is too big, so you don't make it.
Hey, great point. You know who else, it isn't necessarily in the D-tackle market, and that's Andre the Lawyer. Anytime you're injured, you need to call this guy, Andre the Lawyer, at 214-444-8808. This guy helps injured Longhorns in car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Listen, Andre is the guy. Okay, he's the one, but you don't have to worry about him going into the portal. He's going to stick with you. He's part of the team all the way through. Andre's a proud reader at Inside Texas, and if you're hearing this, he wants to help you guys. Please give Andre the Lawyer a call at 214-444-8808. That leads us into kind of a little bit of what you had just said, Texas NIL strategy. I think fans get this idea that Texas has the most money, and when they want to, they can just throw it around and get whoever they want. And there might be a little bit of truth to that, but there's a strategy involved. And I'll give you a quick example. You don't necessarily want to pay a guy so much over what you're paying other guys in that room. because sometimes that can lead to animosity within the locker room, and we've seen that actually with other college programs. Talk about a little bit about Texas NIL strategy and kind of how they went about it with him, and what they're going to do moving forward.
Well, Texas does have a good amount of money, but that's partially, and it's been very consistent. There hasn't been high ups and low downs as far as what they have to do in the portal. Some programs you can tell when they have cash, and you can tell when they don't. Texas has been very consistent, probably the most consistent NIL program in the country from 3 years ago when it really kicked off in the right at the end of the 2022 cycle. And part of that's just their approach. That we can bank on them having the money to go get players that they need next cycle. Maybe they're not going to get everybody, but again, that goes back to them their unwillingness to overpay. They could have got Dominic. They would have had to go way over than what they felt comfortable. And they just weren't going to do it. So I know a lot of fans are QVC shoppers. They want to just binge shop all night long. That's not how Texas is going to do it. Everybody's fortunate there are adults in the room. And they're trying to build a team. You talk about the locker room. Look at what OU just did. They got a good player. There's no doubt. I make no bones about that. He's a quality player. But they're probably going to win 7. They're probably going to go 7-5 this year. Have you seen their finish? They're finished with Ole Miss, Missouri, Alabama, and LSU. How many games are they going to win because they got Dominic Williams? Their playoff chances just went from 3% to 4%, and that's just to make the playoffs. So did it make as much sense for them to go spend that much money as it would have for Texas? I don't think so. But at the end of the day, Texas has more money to go for this recruiting class, the next portal class, or maybe if something arises late in this cycle, maybe they're not done yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we've learned about Sark is they're constantly looking. It's almost like they're constantly refreshing to see how they can churn the bottom of this roster, who can come in to help this team. And it's an obsession. And I think that's what Sark talks about sometimes in his press conferences, being an obsessive towards winning and obsessive towards building the best possible roster year in and year out. And I think Sark's shown a very strong penchant for doing that. Speaking about the portal, there's a guy on campus right now, Javion Cole. 5'10", 185-pounder out of San Jose State via Cal Poly. This guy's been a climber everywhere he's gone. He's had a good season. He was second in the Mountain West last year in pass breakups with 10. He had 3 tackles for loss. He had a sack. And you told us the other day, I believe it was on the live stream, if he's a little bit shorter, that means he's got to be a baller if Texas is in on him. He's on campus today. He'll be there today. He'll be there tomorrow. Then he's going to make another trip next week. What do you know about Javion Cole? Just a little bit. And is this Terrence Brooks fill in? Is this the insurance for just to have another corner in depth? Because again, that's a position where they have some decent depth, but if you can add an extra player, a better player just to fit, is this that kind of guy?
Yeah, and so this is kind of similar to Dominic. Do they need the corner as bad as Auburn? Are they going to be willing to do what Auburn does? I don't know. We'll see. Right now, it's basically a job interview. They're trying to see if they're a good fit for each other, not just Texas and Cole, but is Texas a good fit for Cole and vice versa? That's until we know how Texas feels about him, and that comes. What comes with that is how engaging is he? How intelligent is he? As a football player, does he fit the culture? Sark is always harping about culture. Right now, they're trying to figure that out. And if he meets all those check marks, then we'll know that Texas is probably going to go all in, or not all in, but at least they'll make a spirited effort for it. That's what we got to figure out today and tomorrow. Is does this become real? Are they really after him? Do they want to try to shut him down even before he goes to Auburn? That's what we have to investigate, and that's why people need to sign up to Inside Texas and go check it out. Yesterday on Dominic, we were saying at 11:15 it's probably going to be OU.
Yeah.
We had that. We just didn't have a YouTube video to come on here and talk to everybody. But we had a strong feeling that it was going to be OU because they needed him more than Texas.
Yeah, and with Cole, this is a guy that he's climbing, and we've seen some of these guys that Sark's taken, and they've come in and they fit, that they've been good fits. I don't think he's demanding a starting spot, but the question remains: does Auburn need him more? And he'll be on Auburn next Tuesday through Thursday. So we're hoping to get some clarity on a decision and a little bit more info. But like Eric said, you got to come see us at InsideTexas.com to check that out. Wrapping it up, we've got kind of a slow weekend ahead of us, but not at InsideTexas.com. There might not be a lot going on. There's a state track meet in Austin right now, if weather allows it. That's been kind of raining havoc everywhere, no pun intended. But there's a lot going on right now. We want to make sure that you come see us at InsideTexas.com. Right now, we're running a promo. It's IT1. You get 2 months of InsideTexas.com for only $1. IT1, that will get you through May and into June. And that official visit season is really, really where it kind of starts to take off for us, especially. That's when the nut cutting starts to happen, because July and August is decision time with this new early signing period. And so come see us there. We've got a lot there to talk about. Eric, any final thoughts before we let the fans go?
Well, I think you're selling May a little short, Justin. You know, the coaches are going to be on the road. That means we're on the road. It's a good time, not just Texas coaches, but you don't know who you're going to run into on the recruiting trail. We know coaches at a lot of different schools that give us a lot of different insight.
Yeah.
But May is really good for sorting out who they really want. May is going to sort out who they want to really push for in June. So May leads up to June, June leads up to July, July leads up to fireworks. So I think May is very important for the recruiting process. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. You'll see myself, Eric, and Charlie Williams on the road next week. We'll be hitting high schools, trying to deliver the latest before that big June official visit, and it actually starts in about late May. I think we start to see mid to late May. We start seeing guys take officials. Texas generally likes it in June, but that doesn't mean they can't change things. And so, but be sure and come to Inside Texas for any Javion Cole updates. We're going to have more stuff coming up on Friday, even more on Saturday and Sunday. So be sure and check it out. We sure do appreciate you fans making us a part of your day. Please like and subscribe to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. We got to 7,000. We want to get to that 8,000. And we are so thankful for you guys in the community for allowing us to get there. Come see us at Inside Texas. And we appreciate you joining us on Inside the Program, brought to you by the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.